Okay, so now we're going to talk about is Mahalanobis strategy. Okay, now here there are three main aspects of the strategy of development. Okay, in the this was in the phase of planning, so there was like three strategies which were the main aspects of Mahalanobis strategy, so of development in the earlier phase. So this was in the earlier phase of planning. Okay, so in the earlier phase of planning. Okay, so let me quickly write down. The first one was developing a sound base for initiating the process of the long term growth. Okay, then second was giving priority to industrialization. So high, let me write down here, high priority to industrialization. Okay, so this was the first two most, so this was done at the time of, as I said, it was not done much, it was initially done. Okay, and this was done at the time of when the planning was done in the initial stages. Okay, so that is very important, at the initial stages what had happened. So there was a development of sound based initiation was being done. Okay, and as I said, and there was higher priority given to the industrialization, so that was very important step. Okay, and this was done in the earlier phase of planning. So when the planning was just done, that first two things were most important, was that sound base for long term growth. So long term growth we had to do now, because if on the eve of independence, the Indian economy was very much in bad condition. So that is why they thought that there must be a sound base of initiating the process of the long term growth. And under these circumstances, it was very important, because there was very bad condition, and the all the planners, they thought that there must be direct efforts, and it should be continuous for solving the problems of the economy, by laying a strong foundation for the planned development, especially of industries. Okay, and that is why if you see the second point here, that there was a high priority given to industrialization, because the complete strategy for the long term planned development was laid down in the especially this was laid down in the second 5-year plan. Okay, and the plan was prepared by P.C. Mahalanobis, whose contribution is very important, and he was a famous economist born in Kolkata. He was the very important, you can say, the architect of economics in foundation in India, especially, and his contribution is very important in formulating the plan. And the best part of him was, it was well documented, so everything could be read out clearly. Okay, so the Mahalanobis plan was basically emphasizing on heavy industrialization. So let me write down here, heavy industrialization. So that was very important, very key point. Okay, let's see the next feature. Yes, let me wrap this. The third feature was import substitution. So import should stop. Okay, and exports were more done, because the Mahalanobis strategy was just based on the import substitution. So it was like completely, so this development will depend on this, okay, on this, on which import substitution. Okay, so the strategy enables the developing countries to develop their industrial structure, so that they stop taking goods from outside and they start exporting. So that was so the main thing was, what he thought is that by way of becoming self sufficient, and produce goods in our own country by way of industrialization. So that was very, very important. That is why, this entire plan is based on this theory or strategy, that import substitution is very important, and this way, we must do domestic. So domestic industrialization should happen, so that domestic industries are, sold everywhere in the country, and people start buying domestic products. Okay, and so the idea was to make India stronger and self sufficient, not to depend on other countries, and so that, and also this way, we can export more and increase the foreign exchange reserves. Now, how can foreign exchange reserves? So foreign exchange, like when we sell some goods and those goods are sold and bought by some other countries, they in return pay us, and this way we get a huge amount of money by way of foreign exchange. So that is what he was saying, that the process of industrialization should start, so that we can increase foreign exchange reserves, and there must be self-sufficiency, and this way what you can do it indirectly, we can, let me write down here, we can pay our import. So what he was trying to say is that if we increase our foreign exchange reserve, then we can easily pay our debts, foreign debts and pay our imports also. Okay, so such a process of industrialization must be initiated, it should start. Okay, so that is why, so he thought, that India should be, let me write down here, should be self-sustained in the future. So what do you mean by self-sustained? It should not depend on any country. So that is a very important. And now this strategy, Mahalanobis strategy, was so famous that many countries followed this strategy. So let us see which countries, this is a very proud moment for us, that so many countries followed this huge plan which was made by this great person who thought so much way ahead of his time. And because of his great planning, that most of the countries have also used this expertise. Okay, so let me see which are the countries. So let me wrap this. Yes. Okay, so the strategy was largely followed by, so just imagine how many, just see from which to which continent it has gone. That is really striking. Latin American nations. So all the Latin American nations, they were very impressed, because most of the Latin American nations, they also have the similar problems like us, poverty and population, no education. So they were very much attracted, and they were also not they're completely dependent on the foreign goods. Okay, so that is why they have adopted this approach. And which was the first country to take it? Brazil. And yes, now you can see how Brazil is developed. Argentina and Mexico, even the South Asian countries also took, in fact. And yes, so let me write down here, and South East Asian nations in the 1950s and 1960s. So this plan became very popular in the years from 1950. So almost 10 years, if you see the gap from 50s to 60s, this plan was very, very popular. Okay, and what was the model emphasizing on? So let me just wrap this quickly. So emphasis on development of the capital goods industry first. So capital goods should be developed first. That is the first part. And next is consumer. So not first consumer, first capital goods and then consumer goods, okay, industry at the later part. So this is the way. So first capital goods and then consumer goods. So capital goods are the goods which are, in terms of capital, like, you can save a lot of capital, and it's more of building machineries, and you can sell these products in a huge volume, and this way your foreign exchange also can increase. At the same time, you can import cheaper goods like consumer goods, which are much cheaper than capital goods. So his idea was very, as I said, very modern. So he first thought of, increasing the capital goods and then think about the consumer goods. Okay, so that is why in the first part capital, and then the second part is consumer. Okay, so he was mainly focusing on capital goods like machinery making industries, like, so the ones which were like consumption goods and one that made machines. So basically he was focusing on machines. So that was his key point. Okay, and the machine which could make, productions like, various kinds of machines which were used for production and for consumer, that was also his most important, idea. And the question was how, from a stage where people, spin their own cloth, and they live in huts, or they live in slums, or, and they drove tractors, how can they just start building skyscrapers? So that was the main question. Like such poor people, suddenly they can start building mills and cloth, and, they can dream of skyscrapers. Okay, so so that is why Mahalanobis is so important. Let's focus on this point, that such poor country where we just lives in slums, we only thinking about tractor, we can only think about our own development in agriculture, then suddenly we start building mills and cloth and skyscrapers. So yes, because as I said, he did this, and in fact he had achieved this. So let me write about his name. So Mahalanobis was the first, okay, to develop a machine making industry. Okay, so that is what his idea was, and it point came also that this way, employment will increase, and then we can think about capital goods sector, and we can build machines, and that would maximize the, our expansion of machine making industry. So that was his main goal. And the point was that, this way we can employ more and more people. So that was, if you can see on the screen also, that, workers will get their jobs, they will be able to produce more and more consumer goods also. So once we start building, I'll give you an example. Suppose if we start building biscuit making machine, so to build biscuits we have to first build machines, right? So that is what was his plan. So first he built machines, and then he could focus on consumer goods. And yes, laborers also, everybody was getting jobs, so employment also increased. But there was a criticism of the Mahalanobis plan also. Okay, and who was the one who criticized Mahalanobis plan? The wage good model plan. Okay, so let us go with the last plan. Okay, the critic of Mahalanobis model. And who was the critic? Obviously the wage good model. They were not happy with the end product. So the wage good model. Okay, now who were the prominent economists who criticized this plan? Mahalanobis, and they created their own good model, that is the wage good product model. So prominent economists. So who was the prominent economist? Let's see the names here, like C.N. Vakil and P.R. Brahmananda. Okay, created the above model. Okay, and this, now what is the feature of this? This model focused on the development of the Indian economy and industrialization. Okay, so basically they said, now let us focus that what they had criticized about Mahalanobis, or what they liked or what they did not like. Okay, so let us just see the points. So let us see the features. The features will be the points where where the criticism will also come, and everything will come, okay, in that. Okay, so features of the wage good model. Okay, so basically, here he said that, at the low level of consumption, this was the situation. So now he said that the Mahalanobis didn't see the situation. The situation of India was at the low level of consumption. So this was the situation in India, okay, and also the productivity of the workers depends on how much they consumed. So basically they were saying when there's no consumption and there's no productivity, and this was the situation, the low level of consumption was only so low, and that is why the productivity of the workers also depended on the how much they consume. So according to them, if people were undernourished, so basically what they were saying is that Mahalanobis didn't think about the nourishment. So if a person is not being able to eat food, how he will be able to produce? So that was their question, okay. So according to them, let me rub this. According to them, if people are undernourished, they will lose their productivity, and they will also obviously become less efficient. So if you feed them, then only they will be able to produce, and or else they'll become less efficient, okay. So but this is not true for all consumer goods. See, that is the problem, because so they differentiated between the two things. So let me just rub this so that you can understand this theory better. But this is not true for all consumer good. So they distinguished, so they divided something so that they can understand that no, it's not exactly for everything. So that is why they distinguished themselves into like what exactly they are trying to talk about. So they differentiated between two things. So between wage good. Now what is wage goods? These are goods whose consumption increase worker productivity, and non-wage good whose consumption